I've just got into my new room and I'd be tempted to say it's an upgrade. It feels bigger. It might not be. Obviously, I'm missing the window, big time, but the air conditioner works much better in here already than it does in my room, so that's a plus. Ignore all my bags I packed, as I say, very last minute. I've got this whole desk area, which I love, and a big mirror as well. And then two little windows, which don't open, and this ginormous bed, which I think is even bigger than the one I had. And I thought the one I had was already too big. And I haven't even seen the bathroom yet. Yeah, that looks about the same as my own one. Maybe a bit bigger. Shower looks bigger, I think. This is genuinely so much nicer than I was expecting. And I'm really glad the air conditioner works. Like, it's a lot cooler in here than it has been in my own room, even with the windows open. And the window is the main thing I was missing, so I'm really pleased. Genuinely very happy. Now, I'm in here for, I think, from what I've understood, like 3 days. Then I'm kicked out for 2 days, and then I'm in here for another 10 days. But when I'm kicked out, I don't know if I'm fully kicked out. I don't know if I can leave a couple of things in the cupboard or whatever. So I don't really know if I should unpack or just kind of half live out of a suitcase and then as I wear things, unpack. Does that make sense? But we'll see. We'll figure it out. But for now, I'm going to enjoy this room. Wow! I mean, it's always beautiful, but this is, for me, the most beautiful sort of sail away we've had so far. Hello, I can't quite explain what happened tonight, but I can show you how drenched I am. I don't know how well you can see that. Wait, let me flip the camera. Now for the record, that's the colour it's normally meant to be, and that is the rain. Can you see that? Let's try one more thing and switch these lights on. Ooh, that's like the lightning tonight. Does that make a difference? Can you see anything? Point is, it started raining very heavily. Where am I gonna put you? Oh, so wet. That is not a pleasant feeling at all. Also, apparently, when lightning is striking, the static in the air makes my hair just apparently really go up. I haven't seen it, but a bunch of guests were laughing at me and, you know, explaining that. So I'll have to try and get a video or a picture of it at some point, if I can. Can't really control when lightning hits though. Before the rain started, I was already just gonna comment on the way I felt tonight, because I don't think anything will properly capture it, whether I talk about it, you know, trying to video it, nothing, writing about it. I just felt this immense gratitude, immense, and like a sigh, like a heavy sigh and a release. Because basically, today my manager was still not well, and we were all hoping he would be, because it was turnaround day, and turnaround days are stressful. And you just need as many hands on deck as you can. And of course, that was not a possibility. I'm gonna move you somewhere else. Hold on. What I will say is my shoes are very surprisingly waterproof. Was not expecting that. Also, I'm really glad I washed my hair yesterday. You know what? Give it a minute. I'm gonna get changed into my pajamas. See you in a bit. I have to say the lighting in here is great. You know, considering it's nighttime. I could move over to the side more and have more of a straight facing light, but can't be bothered. And I like the symmetry of this. Ignore the mess on my bed. It's mostly just notebooks. I don't know if you can see. No, my bag's in the way. Anyway. So, today, I'm just looking in the mirror and I look really tanned. Anyway, I do not look tan on camera. And by tan, I mean by my standard, obviously. Alright, so manager not well, not good. 4 in the morning start, not ideal. And in fact, the 4 in the morning start was very not ideal. Usually how an airport day would work, I think, I've only done one so far, one normal one anyway, or maybe 2. Anyway, my boss would do the 4 in the morning one, and then I would be up for the 7 in the morning one and go with them to the airport, and then stay at the airport to collect the arrivals. But we all knew if I was going to do that, then there would be no one at the ship to sort things out and welcome the new guests and, you know, say goodbye to the old guests, etc, etc. So we'd already approved and decided and organised everything so that I could stay at the on the ship the whole day. So at 4 in the morning, I was instructed to give the letters to the airport guide, because we have some wonderful airport guides who sort it out. We have letters that we have to give to the arrivals. And the airport guide hadn't been informed about this and didn't think it was going to work out, basically. He said he wasn't going to be seeing the arrivals, which was true. But I'd been informed, you know, one thing, and I was going to do it that way because, you know, who am I to say otherwise, and I don't have another solution. And then he said, oh, why are you not coming to the ship? And I said, my boss is still sick. I need to be, you know, here in charge. And then he was like, oh, sure, he's still sick. He was sick last week. And my response to that was just like, I know. And he refused and refused. And eventually I had to call my manager awake, who is unwell. I had to call him at 4 in the morning. Only for him to say, well, his bosses have arranged it. So I told him that, and he still didn't really want to take it, but eventually I managed to convince him. And also there was a bit of a problem with the luggage. Not a problem, but it just took longer than it should have, and the first thing just wasn't good. And it's hard at 4 in the morning because you don't have really support, because everyone's still asleep everywhere in the world, basically. So I can't even contact head office or anything like that. But anyway, didn't feel good about that. As a result, wasn't able to sort of try and get a nap in before my next departure. Because last week what I did was I had the 4 in the morning one and then finished that around 4:30. and then didn't need to be up again until 6:30, so I tried to get a 2-hour nap in. I didn't succeed completely last week, but I was able to at least, doze off for a little bit. This week I was just so in my head because I don't like people being mad at me. I work so hard and I do my best, and I try so hard to be nice in any situation, so then when people aren't, to me, I take it really personally and I find it really hard. So anyway, I was in my head about it and didn't get any sleep. And then sent off the next flight, which went a lot better because everyone was awake at that point, everyone could help out. And I didn't need to call my manager, so they could sleep a bit longer, which was good. And then the rest of the day kind of ran really smoothly. Everything went well. We didn't have any delays. We didn't have any cancelled flights. It was fantastic. We did have missing passengers. And on one flight, it was because they never left the UK. On the second flight, it was people who'd gone to the wrong part of the airport. Don't really know how, but apparently they've been really lovely about it, so that's nice. I haven't met them yet. And everything else has just run really smoothly. And everyone leaving was so nice to me again. And I was worried on this cruise because it was different because we did have a replacement manager for the first few days. So I thought, the way I'm perceived is going to be different. But actually everyone was really lovely and I got a few more tips, which was very nice and not necessary, but it does make me feel really good. It just, I don't know, first of all, it baffles me that people are willing to give me money. And in a way it's really nice because, I have been working, especially these last few weeks, so much harder. And I don't think that's going to come with a pay rise. I might be proven wrong, but I don't think anything's going to change in that sense. And so to get even just a little bit, which the passengers shouldn't be paying for, but that's a different story. It does feel nice to be like, I've earned this, And also it's nice because I'm so careful with money, and tip money is cash. And for me, cash is free money. Hear me out. This is such a long vlog, but here we go. I keep track of all of my card transactions and everything I spend, every cent, and in all the currencies as well. And I always end up converting it to the pound and figuring out how much I've actually spent, blah, blah, blah. And what I do is when I take money out of a wall, which I don't do very often, but when I do, I count that as a payment. And then anything I have in cash is free. I don't track that. So if I'm going to treat myself to something, I'll try and pay for it in cash. And so getting tips is really nice for me because that's money that I'm not going to save. And I have a terrible habit of saving, which sounds wrong. Obviously it's good to be able to save, but I am incapable of spending, basically. I find it really hard to buy things for myself. This has gone into a whole different conversation, but here we are. So getting tips for me is really nice because I'm like, this is my money to spend on me and to do something nice for me. Anyway, long ramble. So that was good. And then the new guests were all really nice. And especially the last one. Last week, obviously, that last one was delayed and it just ended up being really long and I was tired and everything. This week, by some miracle, I wasn't tired. And I'm still not really. I did have a bit of a dip around maybe 5-ish, but then I ate some Tim Tams and I was fine. Not sponsored, obviously, but oh my goodness, if Tim Tams would sponsor me, I would accept 100 times over. Anyway, so wasn't feeling tired, was having supper, got a message saying that the flight land actually got in early, which meant I had to leave my really good looking dessert, but I asked them to sort of keep it and I came back to it. And I got there and I said something, and when I have to talk to people, I just try and be as honest as possible, and I try to be true to myself as well. Like, I'm not going to put on a facade, but me being true to myself is also a very awkward me. So I say things that, I just say because I'm awkward, but I think a lot of people perceive it as funny, which is good. So on this last flight, I said something and they all started cheering and laughing. And I was like, oh, okay. And they got checked in so quickly, so easily. And then we could sail away on time and we'd plan something for the evening, and that's where I'm gonna get to, I promise. I had my dessert, very good. And then what we try to do on most of our cruises, when we sail away in Budapest, past the beautiful parliamentary buildings, as well as all the other beautiful buildings. And it's nighttime, so it's all lit up and it's just gorgeous. And so far, every time I've seen it, I want to see it. I don't want to look away. I film it. I'm obsessed with it. It's so beautiful. I don't get sick of it. But tonight was unlike anything else. As we got up there, literally as we got up there, it started to flash. And originally I really did think it was just someone's camera going off because of the way the lightning was. But I very quickly did realise it was lightning, but it was so frequent. It was basically non-stop, and it was like patches of light behind the clouds. I can't explain it. And the clouds, probably because of light pollution, looked like pink and orange. Oh, it was stunning. It didn't come up on my camera at all. So already, good start for me. Also, quick side note, it was really, really hot all day. I think it was like 33, 35 degrees and humid. So I did kind of hope and predict that we would get a bit of a storm just to break that. And it was all going well, and it wasn't raining. And I was like, it's gonna rain, but I'm hoping it holds off until the parliamentary buildings. And it held off for a while, but then it didn't hold off all the way, and it started to drip a little. And I was like, that's all right, we can handle that. And then all of a sudden we went under a bridge. It was really funny, actually. It started to drip, everyone was still happy enough to be outside. We went under the bridge and everyone was like, oh, brilliant, you know, the rain stopped, blah, blah, blah. Got out from under the bridge and it just poured. Like the heavens opened up. And the wind, all of a sudden there was this gust of wind that blew over the champagne glasses, and like, I think 2 or 3 glasses smashed. And then because the wind was so strong, it was then blowing around the pieces of glass, which obviously is totally unsafe. I don't think anyone got injured though, we did double check. And I quickly tried to grab any glasses I could. And obviously I was guiding all the passengers to the nearest stairs. And like everything was flying all over the place. And on top of the glass, you also still had rain as well. And it was hard to differentiate between the glass and the rain. Anyway, but because I was the last one, I ended up very drenched. And that's my story. Such a long video. And I only just realised this looking at my watch at the start of this recording. It's only like 10:15. Well, maybe a bit later now. This time last week, I think we didn't even have the guests yet, the last guests. And like I say, I feel much more awake this week than I did last week. But what all this was leading to, I never even got to my final point. When I first went up there and it was having this lightning and a little bit of a breeze, it was starting to cool down a bit. And I was just looking up to the sky. I didn't have to do anything. All the flights had gone smoothly. We'd got all the arrivals. We got rid of everyone else. That sounds really harsh, but I couldn't remember the word. The team was all lovely and supportive and everyone helped each other and everyone was nice and we didn't have any issues. Except, you know, the 4 a.m. one, but we don't talk about that one. It was so early we don't remember it. That I could just stand there and like breathe. And I just felt so grateful for my life at that moment. And I think a big part of it was just the sky, because I am a sucker for nature. But I was like, this is my life. I get to do this and see this and get these good feelings and help people, and oh, it was just so good. Oh, and cherry on top of everything, we came downstairs, everyone was quite wet and no one kicked up a fuss. Everyone said they really appreciated it and they thought it added to the experience, and I do agree. I feel the same way. And even again, it didn't catch on my camera, but the way the Parliament building was lit up, because of the rain, it had like this smoky effect. It was beautiful. And yeah, everyone was just making jokes about it and comparing sort of how wet their clothes were and their hair and everything, or saying, you know, I was gonna take a shower but now I don't need to, blah blah blah. Like everyone was just having a good laugh about it, and I just felt really good about today. And it was one of those moments where you think, I don't want to forget this, because probably tomorrow we'll get a bunch of complaints about something, or something will go wrong, or, you know, things happen. And, you know, life is full of ups and downs, and sometimes they happen very quickly. But sometimes when you're in such a high moment, at least for me, I just want to do everything I can to capture that. So that's why this long story, that's why all the videos from before as well. And that's why I'm trying to tell everything in as much detail as possible, because it's just something I want to hold on to. And do you know what else? I'll tell you what else. And then I will finish up the vlog, I promise. It's so nice to be in a job where I feel that way so frequently. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of things that can still be better, as with any job, but to feel so grateful so frequently and to be made to feel so good about myself is just how it should be, really. And yet sadly it's not always, or very often in fact. And I think also, I'm so sorry, but I think also, like, literally 2 days ago I was, you know, very upset about something, I'm really thinking like, how am I going to get through the next few months? So to then within, 48 hours feel this way and realize sort of how often I do feel this way in this job in the last few weeks, it's very nice. And look at this room. Oh, brilliant. Right, I have accepted my fate that this is going to be a long vlog. I try to keep my vlogs sort of around 6-7 minutes, but there's so much I want to pack into this one today. So rather than splitting it up, it's going to be like a 20-minute long vlog, and it's going to take forever to upload unless I wait until I'm back home, because the Wi-Fi here is iffy, especially when it comes to uploading things. That is all from me. And I will see you whenever I see you next, but it will not be at the end of this video. We are done. Thank you for listening to me. If you made it this far, I am very impressed. If you did make it this far, I don't know, comment Tim Tam, maybe, I don't know. I've not done that in a very long time, but this has been a very long vlog and I've chatted a lot. Goodbye. I'm sorry, I know I said I was going to end it there, but I just need to show you how ginormous this bed is. I can't quite get over it. So this is where I'm tucked into. That's sort of where a double would be. And it just keeps on going. I think tomorrow I might film a video of me just rolling around in this gigantic bed. I don't think I've ever been in a bed this big. It's fantastic. It's too much. This room is too big. Like, I can't even fathom the upgrades, and I can't fathom why someone would want to pay for an upgrade when this is available. To me personally, this is fantastic. But I'm not a guest, so. And I'm usually quite happy with anything. Anyway, time to sleep now. And time to let you go and be free. I'm so sorry. Good night.